Hi everyone, welcome back to our Thyself Podcast. And this is podcast number 8. And we have a special guest that we invited in our wellness healing circle. Together with us, co-facilitate, we have me, Rico, your body freedom coach, Crystal, a life purpose coach, and Hong Ling, a self-care therapist. But our special guest, she is a ICF certified career coach with over 3 years experience and coach over 400 plus clients. So today we will get insight from her deep insight on what is the challenges in achieving work-life balance and how to overcome it. So let me introduce Sue-lin. Sue-lin, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi Rico. Yes, I'm Sue-lin. So as mentioned, I'm ICF certified career and also a bit of wellness coach since I believe in work-life balance. And it's something that I really advocate and I'd like to share more about it.
Thanks so much for joining us, Sue-lin. Can you tell us a bit more about how you got into being a career coach?
Thanks for having me, firstly. And how did I get into it? Well, I was working in advertising previously and I sort of got burnt out. Plus, because of certain things that happened in my life, like my mom passing away, it's really affected me. And I also, it kind of drove me to a point where I was so burnt out and I had to leave my job. So because of that, it made me rethink about, how I've been actually handling my work and how I actually handle my balance as well. It made me realize that balance is very important and something that everyone should actually have to avoid things like burnout. So because of that, I started digging into who I really was, what I really liked. And through that process, I discovered coaching. And then I started coaching people and I to clock my hours. And that's when I realized that I really enjoyed coaching people and it made me feel so fulfilled. And I'd never felt this fulfilled before previously. So it was something I just had to pursue.
Yeah, it's really wonderful to feel fulfilled in the career that you are doing, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Yeah. So out of the 400 plus clients, do they all also have difficulties challenges in achieving work-life balance?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, a lot of them do have that challenge, especially I think especially after COVID, the lines sort of really got blurred. People start to take work home, and then after that, it's very hard to get back to just drawing that boundaries of leaving your laptop at home, right? My husband is a classic case.
Yeah. So can you tell us a bit more about the clients and their challenges and how they work towards achieving that balance?
So I think the common challenges would be it's a bit of time management, and at the same time, it's about our own behaviors that we bring across. Like we have things like we have the people pleaser, right? Or we just feel like we're a high achiever and we need to work hard to achieve things, or we need to please everyone and we can't say no. Because of all these behaviors, then it makes it harder for you to actually, draw that boundary and then find that balance. I would also say some people are not so aware, like they need to dig deeper into who they are and what actually works for them so that they can figure out, where they can actually draw the line. Because when you get to know yourself better, then you know what you need. Like some people can work for many hours. Some people can work better in the daytime and some people can work better at the nighttime. So it's about finding that balance.
Yeah, I like what you mentioned about being a people pleaser and hyperachiever and just doing what society expects you to do. Because I think me and I'm sure a lot of people also can relate to that. So as you mentioned, is it about going deeper into knowing ourselves better and knowing how to draw that boundary? Like, is it something like that or?
Yeah, it's something like that, knowing ourselves better, how to draw the boundary and making steps to wanting to overcome it. Like when you understand, for example, if you're a pleaser and when you understand the impact that this has caused you, then you can slowly make changes. And it's going to be hard at first, which is why it's very important to do coaching, to talk to the client, to kind of get them to understand how this has been impacting them and what steps they can do to change slowly. Because we're not about telling them, okay, you should not say yes to everything, you should say no to everything. Obviously, that's not the solution. So it's about asking them probably what could you do to, not but if this has been causing you a lot of extra work, what steps can you take to slowly reduce that? So it could be selectively saying no, and some people are not comfortable to just say no, especially if it's your boss, right? So then we talk about how would you manage that conversation, what will make them comfortable to talk about it, because it will be different for everyone.
Okay, makes sense. Because I remember like I was in a time where I haven't done this wellness coaching yet, and I was very stuck in my job. So I really wanted to leave my job at that point of time, but everyone was saying just stay because of the money. And I'm sure money or like salary is a big issue that a lot of people bring up lah. So like let's say like a client comes and say like, but I need to do it for the money to survive, but it's not my passion. Then like how do you like coach the client to find that balance? Because I mean we all need money to survive.
Yeah, I totally understand, and that's a major challenge actually. It's about the financial stability, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes, so there's some clients when I coach them, then we also talk about maybe, okay, this job may not be so suitable, and how do you actually figure out what is it that you are really all about and what sort of job may be more suitable for you. By the end of the day, if finances is a concern, then we talk that through so that they can understand that, okay, since they do need that income and it's not possible maybe right now to switch completely, because when you pivot, you may need to sacrifice certain things, then it'll be help to manage their mindset. So that's where I also work with them on mental fitness. How can they actually handle stress better, maybe not get so upset about things that, may have upset them before, and not get so stressed about it. So then through that approach, then at least if they come to terms with it, they can, change their mindset, change their perspective on how they approach their work to be able to handle it better.
So like example, like any like examples of your clients like experiencing success in managing to find that balance?
Yeah, so I do have a client who actually, so we discovered that most of her challenge comes from herself, where she needs to be doing a lot of things all the time and she cannot sit still. But doing more and more of that things, then she always feels overwhelmed, right? And then she ends up sleeping late and she's always on her phone. So we talked about how to firstly address the sleeping late part, because also when you don't get enough sleep, it affects your stress levels and affects your overall, your overall life actually, because you don't have enough energy. So we worked on firstly how to manage her time, meaning also sleeping within the 11 to 7 a.m. ideally, and then also working on how like she can slowly stop looking at her computer and her phone, and then setting boundaries, and also stop expecting so much out of herself. And it took quite a while, but it takes many sessions to actually get them to understand and get them to make these changes, this habit changes slowly. Because when it becomes a habit after so many years, it's very hard to just switch, right? So you need to slowly move from that. Okay, maybe you used to sleep at 2 a.m., then you slowly move to 1:30, then slowly move to 1, and then slowly like reducing the amount of things on her list, and then she realized that some things she can delegate, some things she doesn't have to take it all into herself, right? I think a common, like, especially because when you're a working mom as well, a common thing is that you need to manage your family. You want to make sure your house is perfect for your kids, your husband, and then all this other pressure. So just getting them to understand that, okay, all this pressure is not helping them overall. So they need to, figure out some things. Maybe, okay, you don't have to do your laundry today. You should do it tomorrow. It's, it's still okay. So just talking them through and getting them to make these slight changes. Yeah, it really helps in the long term.
yeah, like I mean what you mentioned, like I remember when I finish my work, I'll be so tired, but when I go home, I want to turn on my computer, watch Netflix, go on social media, scroll all the way until like 12 midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. It was just my routine. So like what you mentioned, I don't know, I mean like I think it'd be quite difficult like to like slowly bring the new habit. Like I think it will take a lot of time, a lot of willpower, and a lot of coaching. Like, what do you think, Reiko and Hongling?
Yeah, I'm also struggling with this. I just want to share that I find it tough to manage caregiving with my job. And I'm a people pleaser. I've been spending my years pleasing my mom. So, and I realized that I'm not the only one. So after a tiring day of working and caregiving, so at night I just simply want to switch it off by scrolling mindlessly on the internet, YouTube, etc. And sometimes time passes very fast. It's like 1 a.m. already. Yeah. So I'm having these challenges. So Sue-lin, would you be able to help me share one pointer or two that could help me? Thank you.
One pointer or two. Okay. I guess it would be firstly really making a conscious effort to stop the mindless scrolling at night. So probably it would be telling yourself that, okay, what are you actually achieving from this mindless scrolling? And maybe is that something that you could cut off so that you don't feel so tired the next day and you can better manage your time, right? I think it also helps to tell yourself that maybe what do you want to achieve for that one day. So maybe saying that, okay, for today, I will look after my mom. I will do my work well. I will maybe have a healthy meal. And these are the three things that you aim to do. And as long as you've done those three things, then that's fine. So then you don't have to feel so pressured that, okay, you have so much other things that you need to do. So maybe just focusing on a few points a day.
Yeah, thank you for the helpful pointers. Yeah, I will start practicing it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, for Singapore, is like not common to have a coach in the corporate company. Like whenever the employee feel like they face some challenges, sometimes it's not easy to just talk to the authority, like the higher reporting officer, because maybe the challenges is between them. So they always say go to like the HR and stuff. But HR, I feel like it's also limited. Like they are not coaches. They don't really know how to coach the challenges of the employee. That's what I face, because I also face some challenges with like higher authority, but they just say just go and communicate with your higher up. Just talk to them about your challenges. Like so I do feel that additional kind of coach is necessary in the workplace, or the HR that is very well versed in like the coaching techniques and the mental fitness and everything. Yeah, so is your work kind of like that? You are part of the company who employee can just go to you and share their challenges, but you are keeping, the private information private and just will not share
Yeah, no, I mean
towards the employer.
yeah, that's a great point, which is actually something that I would really love to do I actually would love to do it now. It's just that I'm slowly trying to see how I could do that. Because I remember when I was working in corporate, I always wished I would have I mean, not always wish, I didn't know there was such thing as coaches last time, but now if I had gone back, I would wish that I had a coach to talk to. So it's something that I would love to do. I'm just trying to see how I can actually get into that. So what I currently do is very different. I work for a company where we coach external people. So it's yeah, but I really do feel that it would be very important to have this in companies. Yeah.
Yeah, or companies that HR are trained in like really helping them instead of like asking the employee to like just go back and tell your reporting officer what your challenges is, because sometimes you don't relate, you don't relate to your reporting officer, your manager. So what we can do, last time I also didn't know that there's like such coaches available in like this kind of industry until like I go into this exposed to this industry. So so my challenges was communication. I fear higher up authority and not giving the freedom to do what I can do for the company. So under, company strict rules and standards and protocol, but me myself, I just want to be free. I just want to do my own things. I just want to unleash like some creativity. Yeah, so one of my challenges is communication with higher up, and also like, yeah, just being boxed in.
Yeah, I understand. Yes. But the good news is I went to a ICF event a few months ago and I met a lot of HR people there. So they were, already moving into coaching. So hopefully have more HR people who are, coaching, trained to be a coach as well in future.
Yeah, so do you have like, if my people, the employee challenges is like talking, they fear to talk to the higher manager. So what would you suggest like they can do? They don't want to go to HR. The HR is not managing well, but they are also afraid to communicate with the manager.
Okay, yeah, then it would be really, firstly, you would be trying to talk to them on how maybe they can overcome the fear. Like sometimes fear is within ourselves, right? It's sort of like false expectations appearing real. And sometimes when you talk it through, then they realize that actually they have nothing to be fearful about. Or maybe it's about sometimes people are fearful because they don't know how to phrase it, right? So when you talk to them about, maybe how do other people talk to your higher up about this, and then they can observe and they can see maybe a different approach. And then sometimes they feel, oh, okay, this method maybe could work. So that is one way. Another way is, of course, to manage their own emotions internally. So that's where we work on their mental fitness strength, and so that they can better manage their stress and won't feel so overwhelmed.
Thank you. That's good. Like emotion really play a big part, and the mental fitness include like the saboteur, like knowing what voices in our head that is like sabotaging the situation, or playing a scene that is not true,
Yeah.
just in your mind.
Correct, yes. So I myself had a lot of that fear previously, so I can understand and relate. And sometimes it's just changing your perspective, right? Or just seeing that, I mean, some things we fear, but actually it is really not true, right? And then once you do it, then you're like, okay, I don't know why I was so afraid before. So yeah.
Yeah. So how has this helped you? Like you say, previously you have challenges. Do you still continue to work on it? And yeah, how is like learning about coaching or getting coach, learning about mental fitness help you in your fulfillment?
Yeah, so I think learning all of this really helped, like learning how to coach and also being coached in the beginning. It really helped me understand that like self-awareness is very important. And when you know who you are, you know what you can and cannot do. And then you also, firstly, you become more confident. And that helps with a lot of things already. And then you understand what is your boundaries. Like I said, like some people are okay to work 10 hours a day and they don't feel tired, but others, probably need a few breaks in between, right? And ideally we do, I would advocate, of course, having breaks in between. So it's things like just learning boundaries and learning more about yourself, what works for you, and then applying it on yourself. So that's what I do as well. I try to tell myself to take breaks. I try to tell myself like what I shared with Ling, which was like, okay, just maybe prioritize a few things a day, and as long as you achieve that, then that's fine. You can let go of the rest. I mean, let go, but schedule it for the next day, for example, right? So that you don't feel so overwhelmed and you can control your own stress, and you can find better balance and really find what's important to you. There's some things that we do that are actually not that important when you think about it. It doesn't even matter that much. And then you realize you spend so much time doing it. So really try to reprioritize. And yeah, so I try to do this, and I try to work on my mental fitness. I try to get a balanced lifestyle by getting enough sleep, getting good nutrition, because at the end of the day, all of this also helps with your energy levels, helps you to be able to do more as well. Yeah.
Yes. So what I hear from you is the knowing yourself part is very important, to know who you are and maybe what challenges that you're currently facing. Then prioritize, making sure you know what is the important task that you can do, or the not important task you can schedule it for another day. And also next important thing that you mentioned is not just looking at the career as one aspect, but also looking at the whole holistic well-being point of view, looking after yourself, sleep, healthier meals, and just including some of the techniques that you can reduce and manage stress.
Yeah, that's right. So I really like what all of you are doing, with your nature walks and everything. I think it really helps to bring out that holisticness of just getting that balance, because yeah, I mean, career is one part of it, but our life is made out of so many things other than career. And when your career is not going well, then suddenly your whole life feels like it's not going well. But actually, our life is made out of so many things, and it shouldn't be the case, right? We should be able to find fulfillment in every aspect. And yeah.
So I have a question here, Sue-lin. I'm
Yeah.
just wondering, when we feel overwhelmed, so some people will go to counseling, some people will go for coaching. So what would be the differences?
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks for asking. Not many people know, and also not many people know to go for coaching. That's one thing. But now that I've embarked onto coaching, what I know is for counseling tends to focus a bit more on your past trauma and how can you move forward from your past, right? And coaching focuses a bit more on your future. So what steps can you take to move forward? Right, so we are more sort of a goal-oriented, task-oriented, and we try to move you beyond the past. So we don't focus on trauma. So I'm not trained to help people who are maybe going through depression or, trauma issues. So that's something that a counselor would be trained to do.
Yes, Sue-lin, thank you for your clarifications. But a lot of time, a lot of people don't seem to see the value in coaching, because they say, "Oh, I spent almost like 200 with a coach, then it take me time." So what would you say? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand. I know it's not cheap, but what would I say? I guess it really depends on the individual. If they don't value it, then it is nothing I can do or say to make them change their mind. But I can only say that from my experience, how I view coaching is that it helps you find your answer within yourself. So of course you can research on the internet, you can, talk to a lot of people and find your own answers as well. It may take a longer time, but it doesn't mean that you will not get there. So coaching would be a way to maybe cut short the time to help you get to that place faster. Right. So yeah. If you want to maybe move a bit faster, then yes,
Mm.
coach will help you. Yeah, and
Yes,
sometimes, oh sorry, yeah, one more thing is that I find that let's say you're going through some issues and you talk to your friend or you search on the internet and then it tells you, oh, you should do this, and your friend tells you you should do all of this, and then you go, okay, great, this worked for my friend, I'm going to do it, and then you do it and then you realize it didn't work for me, and then you feel that you're a failure, and since it didn't work for me, it means that this route is not possible for me at all and I should just give up. So this is what a common thing that most people go through, but with coaching, we find the way that works for you. So if obviously it's not a one approach for everyone, so maybe this doesn't work for you, but then we will talk through to figure out what would be a approach that works for you. Yeah, so sometimes you can't get those answers from elsewhere as well.
yeah, thank you for your sharing and clarifications. So personally, I started off as a solopreneur, and then I tried to figure out what my friends told me, what works for them. Then when I started to engage a business coach, I realized that I can actually accelerate my learning and stop making the mistakes that my business coach makes, and that's helped me. So a lot of time, we don't seems to see the value. It's only when we started investing in myself, like for example, when I started to invest in myself, then I started to appreciate how we can co-create solutions with coaches, with counselors, rather than struggling on my own. Because during my times, like more than 20 years ago, these are very new. So when I happen out, I really don't know where to go to and who to go to. But nowadays, with the resources that we have, sometimes I also feel overwhelmed. So can you share with us, like, how can we find a coach that we can work with, you see?
How can we find a coach?
Coach that we can work with, what are the criteria that we need to look up for? Otherwise, there's so many scams out there. I don't know whether they have started scamming us or not. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think it's about chemistry and how comfortable you are with the person. So like if you find a coach, see if you can have a one-on-one, they don't normally would offer like a free call up front or a free session for you to experience them. So just go and experience a tryout, see how the coach is for you, whether they have the same values as you do. I find that we work better when we have the same values as the person that is, that will be coaching us, right? Because if the person is not giving you, doesn't make you feel comfortable or doesn't portray the same values that you have, then it is not going to be very easy or effective. Yeah,
Thank you for your sharing.
sure.
Yeah, I think it's important to like find a coach that you feel comfortable sharing all like the personal details with. Yeah, and I think just to like talk a bit about the like how a coach can guide you, because I see it as someone said this imagery before. It's like you just throwing darts randomly everywhere, in front, behind the whole circle, just throwing darts. But what a coach helps you is to guide you, to tell you where the dartboard is, then you start throwing darts there. So it's not like aimlessly anymore. And like what was shared previously, I really wish that there was such thing as career coaching when I was working like 5 years ago, because I felt so lost and so stuck in my career. Like I just felt like it was the end. Like I was meant to be in this unhappy place and earn money until I die. But after like our conversations with you, Sue-lin, I realized that actually it doesn't have to be that way. Like, like through coaching, there's so many like alternatives, many things that I can practice and I can do, and the support that I get is just amazing. So I realized that actually I didn't have to feel so stuck. Actually there is a solution, and I think I would definitely get coaching if I knew there was such thing as career coaching back then. So thanks so much for your insights. They're really very valuable for us.
Yeah, you're welcome. I also wish I knew about this when
You
I
all
was
wish you
working. Yeah, so how I craft my program now is I put myself in, my shoes previously, and I kind of teach, my clients what I wish I could have taught myself last time.
That's nice. Yeah. Thanks so much for your input, Sue-lin. Anything else, Miko?
Just a curious question for your coaching client. Like, what is the shortest breakthrough that you had with them, and what is the longest duration that a client need to break through? Just a curious one.
So there are clients that we have managed to help in, I have managed to help in one session. So one of my clients, she was struggling because she had a lot of things on her plate. She had issues with her health, someone's health in her family. She was studying at the same time, and she was working in a toxic environment. But of course, during the one session, her main objective out of everything was to really get a handle on everything, as well as progress in her studies, because she needed to complete and graduate. So during that session, we talked about what was stopping her from really studying, because she was obviously distracted by a lot of things. And then we worked on how she can actually find the right time to study every day. So once it was all about just firstly, why did she really need to finish her studies? And once she got clearer on that, her motivation became stronger. And then we worked on, okay, amidst all the distractions the whole day, when can she fix a time every day to study? And through that, just by talking that through, during that session, we had agreed, okay, every day at this time she was going to study. And after that session, she messaged me a few weeks later and said that she's really happy. She actually managed to do it every day at that time, and she's actually graduated, and she's really happy. So it just took one session for her. And then there are other clients where it took probably 10 sessions about changing the whole habits. The one I shared earlier, where it was stop sleeping so late, stop looking at your phone, right? So because of the behaviors and the habit that you really need to change step by step. So that one takes a much longer time. Yeah, but everyone's progress is different, and also, it's really dependent on each one's issues.
Yeah, thank you. And we will have a fireside chat with you on next week, Tuesday, which is on the 12th September. Yeah, at 9 p.m. So for those who are hearing this podcast and the or YouTube that we have put out, come and join us in the fireside chat in our Wellness Healing Circle. We do this every month, every second Tuesday of the week at 9 p.m. So different topics. And if you have any challenges, like for next week is career or wellness, you can come in and have a chat with Sue-lin. And how can people find you in social media?
Right. Okay. They can find me on my website, which is balanceandwellnesscoaching.com, or Instagram at Balance and Wellness Coaching. It's quite long, I know, but yeah.
But balance and wellness is very important.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I'm also on LinkedIn, so just my name, which is Sue-lin. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We will put the information on whichever channel that you're listening in, YouTube or podcast or even Instagram. Yeah, so you can find Sue-lin there as well. Any last message, Sue-lin, for us?
No, I really liked what you're doing, right? I think it really resonates with me, with the whole balance and wellness. Like I said, I guess we need to find balance in everything. So in our careers, in our life, wellness, I think I've also seen your post, which I agree with. Like some days you eat a really healthy meal, and then other days you can indulge in like sinful food, right? So it's not about just sacrificing all the good needs, but it's about finding a balance and everything. So I think that's really important.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming in to our podcast and having a conversation with us. We are really appreciated that you share so many insights about challenges in the workplace and how we can achieve work-life balance. Yeah, grateful for the conversation for this podcast. So everyone, thank you for joining in and listening in. And we will see you at the fireside chat and also our next podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.